1, go.
Alright, so starting off, we're going to immediately turn game speed all the way up, and we're also going to be using this high-speed hero option, which makes the hero move even faster. You go straight to the magic shop and you buy the open spell, and then we have everything that we already need to beat the game. So, normally, when you play this game, you have to figure out the hide-and-go-seek password, you have to go get all the ingredients for a dispel potion, make a dispel potion, and then once you've done all that, then you can go to the Brigand Fortress and start dealing with the Brigand leader, because Brigands have taken over the valley, and you need to take out their leader to stop them. But we're going straight to this fortress without most of the stuff we would normally need to beat the game. All we really need is 40 strength that gets you to the Antwerp door and the open spell, because that's going to get you through the rest of this. Yeah, a lot of this is very heavy execution. The world record for this is 1 minute 1 second, or maybe 1 minute 2 seconds. It's very close to that 1 minute barrier. Now, when you get to the Brigand leader, normally the game locks your movement, expects you to use a dispel potion to restore her to her former self, but you can use the open spell to unlock your movement and then immediately leave the room, and the game thinks that you did the room normally. You've beaten the game. Congratulations, you're a hero.
Nice. That went pretty smoothly, especially with the safety saves. And now we're going to have this really loud fanfare and ending screen. Now, there's two versions of this game. There's an EGA version, which was done in '89, and then a couple years later, they were coming out with the VGA. Sierra was switching over to 256 glorious colors, and they decided to remake this game and then re-release it with, I mean, all new interface and whatnot. I mean, the VGA was, it's a beautiful game. The two games run very differently, but for purposes of category, we allow either one to be run. Now, as fast as this game is, it actually has about 3 to 4 minutes of end cutscene here. And there's nothing we can do about it, so we have to wait through it. Now, you'd think, okay, well then the other game must be pretty slow. Actually, the ending of that game is quite fast. It evens out where we probably end up beating this game about 45 seconds faster than the other one. There's also some other glitches that can happen if we were to take a character from the VGA into the next game, which is Quest for Glory 2. So we just fooled everyone into thinking that we are actually a hero. We didn't solve any of the problems. This was a major skips category. This might as well be considered a credits warp, if, just with a little extra execution attached to it. This first game is... it's like David said, this is, because it's so short, it's pretty much the most execution heavy, but they all do have... I mean, the longer the games go, they have more chances to lose time. So I believe the world record for this category right now is at 53 minutes and change. So we're going to be aiming to get it under an hour, and we should be okay to do that.
So who has that world record?
Well, I don't like to brag. No, I've been slowly whittling down the time on this 5-game category for a while, but we actually have a lot of runners that compete. David TKI is one of the ones who also runs this category, but I run the any percent, and then David has a tendency to run the 100% pretty darn heavily. So while I only know how to get to the end of the game, David really knows how to get to all of the end of the game, which is kind of the running gag between us both. Is that fair, David?
100% is long. There's a lot to it.
There is. The difference is about what is it, like a 3 hours difference between the two runs if you're doing all 5 games?
Something like that.
Well, we're coming up here. You'll see it's going to advertise the next game in the series, and you'll see in a couple seconds it's going to give me the option to export my character to the next game. Like I said, that's the gimmick of this. We're going to take Retrothon from Game 1 all the way to the end of Game 5, where they are declared a king. The King of Silmaria. Let's see. Alright, they said you're having a hard time hearing you, David. I just boosted you.
Alright. See if I come through more clearly.
Looks like you are. Alright, well, you've got the save character coming through here, and we're going to kick up the second one.
Alright, so we're going to have something interesting here. We are playing we're not playing the original Quest for Glory 2 here. We're going to play AGD Interactive's fan remake of Quest for Glory 2. You can think of it as a Quest for Glory 2 VGA. It's not exactly official, but you know, it's good enough for.
Yeah, the game's not coming through. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we tested all of these, so naturally there was going to be a problem.
I mean, really, the most difficult part of this run is transitioning between games.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Yeah, we usually have all our scenes set to show all the games exactly right, and we have batch scripts to copy the import files exactly where they need to go. So something was bound to go wrong.
Let's try that again. Well, that did something.
I see a little bit of game.
There we go. All right. Took a little bit of maneuvering, but we figured it out.
First try, let's go.
First try. Okay, Retrothon, you see the character, and now we've got a couple extra points. We're going to put them all into Magic, hit a simplified alley layout, and hit start. And begin to pull things up. So, David, this is going to be a little execution heavy, if you could handle that for a second.
Sure. First of all, I will immediately point out the simplified alley layout. That's one of the very nice benefits of this fan remake, is that you're not going to get lost in the alleyways anymore. They've given the option to have a greatly simplified layout. I did see some Flame Dart castings there. That's to get magic skill up, get Flame Dart skill up, because that Flame Dart skill is going to be very important later on. So, one of the things about this VGA version, we are going to have to deal with all the elementals that attack Shapir normally. EGA does actually have a way to skip the elementals. Unfortunately, the EGA version is infamous for the long wait in Razier before you can go to sleep, and that costs somewhere around 6 minutes worth of time. So even though you are going to have to actually be a hero in this game, this remake is quite a bit faster, simply because you just don't have to wait as long in Razier. I just saw a Sharky going down Sharky Guard.
Yeah, I saw that too. Those silly clowns.
Are on.
This game has a lot of little glitches, or maybe not glitches, cameos, I guess would be a good way to do it. Easter eggs.
Silly clowns.
Silly clowns. That'll go on. Now, you can turn off a lot of those Easter eggs by turning off Silly Clowns. Unfortunately, Silly Clowns is faster, because we'd have to take the time to disable it.
Yes, Silly Clowns are on.
Make sure I get the right days here.
We have a little community disagreement here.
Yeah. I'm also the only Quest for Glory fan in the entire world, pretty much, who does not care for puns. Which is...
That's unfortunate.
Oh. Already. It's too early. It's too early for the puns. But I would say that even at 9 o'clock at night, so... Okay, we're gonna grab a couple things that we need, get yelled at by a guard. Can't believe that didn't kill me. And now we're...
Magic.
Now we're heroically resting.
Yeah, I mean, after our difficult adventure in the first game, we really need to sleep that off. It was just so fast.
We did.
By the way, we didn't even mention that the fire elemental would have one-shot you if it had touched you.
Yeah, most things will. I am much weaker than the game intends you to be at this point. And that means that, well, I've got to learn how to compensate. The game expects you to have something like 50 more hit points than I actually do, which might not sound like very much, but I'm coming into this game with Quest for Glory 1 stats, because you usually do some stat grinding. You fight things, you get stronger. Well, no, we just race to the end of the game. That's how you get through things. So we actually have to get a little clever as to how we're going to solve these problems. Let's see.
Magic.
Yeah, magic's pretty much the way to solve all of life's problems, as you're going to see. In fact, I bought a spell here that I'm only going to use once at the end, towards the end of the 5th game. Day 12.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that magic is the solution to most of our problems, and yet we're playing as a thief. And part of that is because of the way Quest for Glory 3 and 4 script things out. They do base certain puzzles based on the class you selected, and it just so happens to be the case that the thief is the fastest. The thief is indisputably the fastest.
Yeah, it's like almost... It's a full 10-minute difference, almost. Ooh. I should have safety saved here, but we're just going to YOLO it. We should be alright.
Oh, that's going to be scary then.
Ah, well. That's fine. I'll safety save now. We'll be alright. Now
the Earth Elemental is a major RNG point for Quest for Glory 2 in this run. You do want him to show up quickly, and then you do want to one-cycle him, and some of that might be based on how much damage Flame Dart does. There's also a rare throw 2 powders in one combat thing that you can do, but it's hard to do.
Yeah, we believe that is also tied to the amount of damage you can do. So it's kind of a mixed bag as to whether or not you get it. We're trying to figure out the proper way in order to one-cycle that boss. There's still new things being found all the time in this series about what's the most optimal route. How do we be as least heroic or as most heroic as possible? I mean, all those things kind of play into it. But now we've actually, you might have seen it. It went by pretty quick. I solved the water elemental problem, and now we're heading over. We've fixed all of life's problems in this city. We've actually been a hero for once. And we're going to head over to the second city, which is where this version really speeds the game up overall. This is actually the latest game in the series. You might notice I'm running Quest for Glory 2 in glorious VGA colors. Well, Sierra never made this game. They made Quest for Glory 2 in EGA, but even at that time they were transitioning over to VGA. They just never got back around to doing this one. So, Quest for Glory 2 was redone in, it was like 2007, 2008, something like that, by AGD Interactive, which got a limited license from the copyright holder, who allowed them to pretty much remake the game as long as they didn't sell it. So this version right here that I'm playing is completely free online. If you just type in Quest for Glory 2 Remake on Google, you can download it with no problem. But even on GOG, if you were to download the whole series or pay for the whole series, it frequently goes on sale, and its normal price is only $10. But this version had a lot of quality of life changes, which makes it much faster than the EGA. And one of the ones, as David was mentioning a little earlier, is coming up right now in this second city. Look how heroic we are.
So in the original game, in Razir, you needed to go to sleep to go to the next day, but the rooms were only open at night, and you arrived at mid-afternoon, and you didn't have a way to rest until evening. So you basically had to just wait until evening. And at the fastest time scales, that would take about 3 minutes. Luckily, in this remake, you can rest, and the rooms open at sunset. Oh, I saw you got the door warp.
Yeah, it took me a little longer. Even that's new within the last, 4 or 5 months. There's a 1 pixel or 2 pixel window where you can click on the door, and instead of running to the door and opening it, it just teleports you in. So, I mean, how these things are found is just amazing to me.
Pure accident, that's how.
Yep. And then we thank God we're recording it now, so we're able to go back in and start to find a lot of these skips, because, I mean, there's major skips in a lot of Sierra games. But I will say Quest for Glory seems to have the most of all the big skips. So if you like point-and-click games but don't like them that much, Quest for Glory is perfect for you. Speedrunning.
Yeah, what's the individual game record for this game standalone? It's what, 9 minutes?
I think we're sub 9 minutes now.
Okay.
I think we're sub 9 minutes. It's been a while. We kind of just keep going back and forth between the different games. We'll go back, we'll do some other games, and then come back and re-optimize. Whoop. Make sure we get out of here. And we got.
You did not safety save before casting open on the cell door.
I would have only been a couple seconds behind, maybe a minute.
Well, if you had accidentally opened the outside door...
Yeah. then guards would have rushed in and decided that, I'm trying to be sneaky. I mean, they can take away my items, but they can't take away my magic. Oh, we're definitely safety saving here. We're going for the 1 cycle log.
Oh boy.
Oh, got it. Look at that.
Nice.
This run is verified now. This is a validated run. That is not an easy thing. It is like very tight timing, but this is another one where things tend to get a little...
Yeah, Lost City here is the most dangerous part of Quest for Glory 2. Like even the lava room, you don't really have enough health to get through there, so healing pills help you get through there. Like, vitality is really low. Name it Power Dowd, I like that.
Yeah. No, the lava room continually drains your health, and my character was not meant to be at in that room with as much health as he had. So but we made it through because we can heal at the right time, plus the room's on a cycle. When we get a genie, and we're going to wish for 3 things. First thing we're going to wish for is intelligence, which is something that I think we all would love to have. Next thing we're going to wish for is more magic, which is something that all of us would like to have. And then we're going to teleport, because if you don't teleport, it's a game over. So. But the reason we wish for... Oops, that's why we safety save there. The reason we wish for intelligence and magic is because that intelligence and magic is necessary to increase the number of magic points we have. And we're going to need them for the next game. A lot of what we do in each game is setting us up for what comes later in the later ones. All right, second game done.
That was fast.
Yeah. I mean, even with the crazy mistakes that were the formatting issues of the first game, of this game, things worked out. The city was saved. Everyone is happy. In fact, now we're going to use that water elemental we only saw for about 10 seconds to restore the city of Razir, this dystopia. And then we're going to be declared a hero.
Yeah, it's nice to actually be a hero. Don't get used to that.
Oh yeah, we're not going to be very heroic in the rest of the games. Definitely not going to be heroic. But we're always going to make people think we're heroic. That's the beauty of it.
Well, I mean, you're living up to the thief name. That's something a thief is really good at, making everyone think they're a hero.
We even steal the accolades. That's the idea. So all these people here are telling us how great we are. I'm actually, one of the things you're not seeing is I'm holding the escape key the entire time, because the escape key pretty much skips every dialogue. As long as I'm holding it, you'll see these guys, they just kind of mouth wiggle, and next thing you know, we're transitioning ahead. And that is actually where the biggest amount of time save happens. Or maybe not the biggest, but maybe the second biggest, but either way, huge. It can't be understated that skipping dialogue saves a ton of time.
That ending would be a lot longer in the original game too.
Much longer. Import. Thief. Retrothon is continuing his journey. Ooh, I don't like that magic score. It's a little lower than I would like to see, so we're actually going to do some glitch training here. Something I don't very often. Well, this is the third game. This was actually the first game that they produced entirely in VGA. This is the land of Tarna, where there's a war that's about to happen, there's xenophobia abound, there's a demon that is trying to destroy the world. We're only going to handle a small portion of that, and we're going to adjust our skills here. Now we're in the... And I'm going to cast Flame Dart here, but I'm going to hit the middle click key and then leave the room. Middle click stores, so now we're going to pew 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 all over the room and train up our magic skill. Normally what'll happen is that after each cast, we're casting it so fast the game doesn't have time to update the screen. Normally each time you cast, you have to go up to the top bar and click, but using that middle click trick, we can train up Flame Dart very, very quickly.
You made a mess in your room.
Well, I mean...
You gonna clean that up?
I would have, I mean, the sun would have blown up if it had been there. All I'm doing now is waiting about 3 seconds in between each click and resting for 60 minutes because nothing really happens until the middle of day 2, whenever magic happens. It's the best way I can describe it. So now...
We're basically just waiting for the plot to progress.
Yeah. Normally at this point, you're expected to, explore the savannah a little bit and explore the town and trade in your coins and buy some items that are going to help you get through the game. Notice we're not buying anything. We're not trading in our money, and this is because of a wonderful, wonderful glitch that you're going to see in a couple seconds here with that David discovered a few years ago.
On accident.
On accident, during a run. I mean, the run was ruined, but it created a major skips category for this game. And it brought the time down from something like 20 minutes down to, I think my import record is something like sub 8 minutes. So, I mean, you take 12 minutes off a game, you found something big. And we thank David every day for it. All right. Now we're heading off to a council meeting.
That sounds boring.
They usually are, so we're just going to agree to everything they say by right-clicking to skip all the dialogue. And we're not even going to answer the king, we're just going to stare at ourselves, because that's faster. And now we're on the savannah. It'll take a couple seconds because it's our first time loading up the screen. The game auto-saves and gives us points for it. I am going to do a safety save here, huh? I have not messed this up in a long time, but I don't want to...
But if you do mess up, now would be the time to do it.
Yeah, I think it would safety save there anyway, so we'd probably only lose a couple seconds, but I don't want to even lose those. And there we go. What usually happens is that you come down here, you rest through the night, and then you follow. This guy who's in front, the Lion Tar, he will auto-travel for you to this village. And notice we are completely skipping it. It's because we've taken control of the caravan during a cutscene. This is the beauty of this glitch. It stops time, it stops encounters, but it also sets the flags that you are following someone. And there is one other screen where following somebody does something, and that is the final screen here, the 4th screen of the world map. And what this does is warp us literally to the end game. So we are now following a monkey that we've never met before, but the game thinks we've met them before. And we're just going to completely yeet to the end game. Here we go. Climb up the tree with our climbing skill, which is horrible. And we got to talk to these monkeys. In fact, I think I'll show off, since we got a little bit of time here, I like showing off some of these if I can get it. There we go. That is actually our hero here. Come on, come on, come on. Can I get it to work anymore? There he goes. It's always funny to see the hero just start messing around and, whoops. It's like, oh, great, I moved my character behind the tree. Am I going to be able to talk to myself? One of the, they didn't lock down the menus in the right places, so we found a lot of little glitches here and there, which is always fun.
It's amazing how broken this series is.
Yeah, they used to be known for broken for how often they crashed, and this probably is the one that is most prone to crashing. That and the next one, but most of the crashes that were associated with this series have been fixed by the set cycles in DOSBox and the patches that have been applied. It's important to note that we, with a few minor exceptions, run these games on the GOG and Steam settings.
Yeah, that basically means DOSBox set to 10,000 cycles.
Yep. We're not running these on max cycles. We've done it, and let me tell you, Quest for Glory 1 EGA is pretty much uncontrollable. There we go. Now we're at the final place of the game. 20 minutes before we could get to it.
Yeah, so this is probably where us importing our character is going to cause the most difficulty, because we haven't done any grinding at all, maybe little bits of flame dart, but that's it, since game 1. And so, Quest for Glories 2 and 3 do not scale up your stats at all when you import. They just take your character as is. So we are way weaker than we have to be, and we don't have a plot item that would allow us to skip a fight that's normally optional. So that means when Reishaka gets possessed by a demon, we're gonna have to kill that demon.
Normally we'd have a Dispel Potion that would completely skip this quest. But we can stun lock him. Oh, that's not good. Oh, got hit. That's okay, it's a good thing I safety saved. Sometimes his hits can one-shot you, and thank God I did not get one shot there, but you see how weak I am. One hit there did that much damage, which is just wonderful to show off.
Now, you like to call this guy Mike Tyson, right?
Yeah, I call him Mike Tyson because he knocks you out in one hit, just like in the NES. With that dynamite punch. Kid Dynamite himself. I actually modded this game with the SCI companion to include the Mike Tyson sprites from the NES game for this guy. I never released it, but it is funny, and it doesn't look as cool as I thought it would, but it works.
You also changed Manu's portrait to Donkey Kong.
Yes, Donkey Kong is now replaced, or has now replaced the main monkey in the game. But there we go, we got him. Thanks to our magic skill, which is way more powerful than any thief should have any right to.
Yeah, the Blue Demon used to be a major gatekeeper for collection runs. Had to do a lot of finagling to figure out how to get past it reliably, spacing out your shots so they don't have diminishing returns on damage, sneaking in swings and stabs in between flame darts.
Yeah, it used to be a running gag. Is David, you would pretty much always make it through the demon, and I would never make it through the demon. But then we figured out that if you just like intersperse like one or two stabs here and there between them, it as long as one or two of them connects, you're going to beat the demon. And taking your time. If I were to just spam flame dart there, I would just run out of magic, and he would take almost no damage. The game is programmed to make sure that you're not just spamming spells throughout your fights. Notice all these guys here that we've met during our quest to be a hero. Haven't met any of them. Maybe this monkey. But they're really eager to help us out here.
Oh, how are you gonna handle this mirror fight? You have no health now, and you have to fight an evil twin.
Well, like every time I'm going to stand in the mirror, I'm just going to stay still and shake my head. That's good. Here it comes. There we go, we beat him. The game waits to see if you have a low enough amount of health. Alright, let me see if I can get this on the first try. There is one more glitch here we've got to do. Nope. And I have to... There we go. I'm actually walking outside of the bounds of the screen, which is actually necessary here. And I'm going to walk to where the game expects you to be whenever you complete it, and then get ourselves out of Quest for Glory 3 by killing the last guy. That is only available for the Thief. It is horrible that it's not available for any of the other characters, because for Fighter, there is a very big problem there, and for Wizard, there is a really big RNG problem there. So, Thief is my favorite.
You're not a fan of the Gargoyle?
Oh gosh, the Fighter. Depending on which class you are, there's a different end game puzzle there. For a Fighter, you fight another guy, and it's not fun. I mean, it's fun if you're playing casually. Let me just say, but if you're speed running it as a source of nonstop, is this run going to actually succeed? For the Wizard, you're doing RNG checks pretty much all over the game, up till that point. And there we are in the fourth game.
Yeah, Shadows of Darkness is kind of the most infamous about how buggy it is because of how often it crashes, and yet it's the only game we have not broken. Not completely anyways. There's some small stuff that we've found, but that kind of requires some dirty SRAM, so it hasn't been feasible in this collection run.
Yeah, it's like David said. I mean, we actually start the game in the final dungeon of the game, so it's a little disappointing to have this so close to the end and not be able to complete it. But as David said, we have some some weirdness that can happen if we're playing on the original disc version 1.0, or if we load a save beforehand that dies, we can actually store some items in a chest. This category doesn't do that. We call those the questionable any % runs and the highly questionable any % runs, because it actually requires, one of them requires a save game state that you can only get through debugging. In other words, you have to really cheat in order to create a scenario that doesn't legitimately happen and then load a save. It's a very weird situation. But since we've started, I've actually loaded in about 5 different, or at least 2 different glitches in the meantime. And this one right here is, there was a developer code that was left in the screen that you normally talk to Katrina, who's a major plot person in this game. And if you hit Shift W on that screen, it casts the fetch spell regardless of whether or not you have it. That actually prevents time from moving forward at a normal rate. So what I do is I rest 4 times, and then sleep here. And what that does is moves the game forward to day 2. Oh.
That's pretty important, because plot stuff happens on day 5, so we do kind of need to progress to day 5 when we can.
Yeah, otherwise I'd love to just keep this game at day 1 forever. But I had to go into... a lot of the things that I'm doing here are actually designed to prevent major skips from... major glitches from happening, game-breaking glitches. So I walked into the Burgermeister's place in order to prevent a glitch on day 5, which used to be game-breaking and game-ending, but it just requires a little bit of extra time to work around now. But you will see I'm talking to people, and actually I'll be skipping most of the puzzles that are in this game. If you just spam the question mark on these puzzles, you don't get the points for them, but we don't need the points. This is an any % run. We're not really worried about it. Look here. We learned something about something, and we threw an avocado in there, and now we've caught ourselves an Antwerp. And we're going to skip that puzzle too. And some of these we do have to do legitimately. Like, I would love to be able to just click the question mark, but all the question mark does here is show you what the final puzzle looks like. Doesn't look like there's any way to skip this one legitimately, unfortunately. Luckily, it's pretty obvious the way the puzzle's supposed to work. We have to visit this guy on 3 different days, but he also has some beautiful things for us, like magic, even though he doesn't believe in it, and some empty flasks. And on the 3rd day, he'll have a major plot progression item that we're going to get. But for now, we've completely done everything that we need to do in town on the 1st day, so we're going to run out of town and back down to the area that we started the game at. Because there's some wizardry that can happen down here.
Yeah. So through Quest for Glory 4, you're going to be collecting all 5 rituals of the Dark One. 2 of them are basically near the swamp area. There's 3 different ways to go to the tomb in the swamp and get the bone ritual here. One of them is the glide spell. The glide spell is the fastest method and is available to us. If you were strong enough, you could also wade through the swamp, and that would be reasonably quick. You wouldn't have to go to town for a spell and then come back here, but you do need the candy for the other ritual that's in this area, so may as well get the glide spell first.
10. Now I need to wait until night, and this is one of the major things that people will lose time on in Quest for Glory. Quest for Glory 4 is each time you rest or if you misclick something, it's costing you time. Precision really is key here. Now, David said we need candy, but we don't need candy. Come on. Work.
Oh, you're going to fetch it?
Why not? I didn't fetch anything. Shoot. Let's try it again. There's 2 ways to do this. You can either put candy out, or you can cast the fetch spell. And that is the not safe way, probably faster. But we only need these guys for one puzzle here. And it's this one. Now, if you've ever gotten locked on this puzzle, I have lost many runs to this puzzle until I realized that if you just take your time and wait a second on each letter that you're spelling out here, it works pretty darn consistently.
So in order to go fast, you have to go slow.
Yeah, and it's just eyeballing it. There's no... I mean, there probably is a way to determine, like, an optimal number of seconds, but since the game's running on cycles, we don't necessarily know what they are. Now, even as I'm running through the forest here, nighttime in the forest is pretty darn dangerous, but we need to at least talk to this woman here who is a ghost, as you can see. And we need to talk to her 3 times, freak her out about the fact that she's a ghost. Hope that... Okay, we're good there. And...
Counter?
Oh, I got into a fight. That's the one place. Took a riskier route there. Yeah, if I run past a Wraith Burrow, which there are Wraith Burrows that are in the path of the hero there, that will reset the encounter rate, which is usually a safe thing to do. Fortunately, there's not really any danger to taking an extra encounter. It's just, you hope you don't run into any problems. But now we've told this old man about that ghost in the forest. That's actually his wife. And we need to go send him out into the wilderness to go find her. He's been searching for her for years. Well,
we're heroes.
Yeah, we're heroes. We need his hat. He needs to die so we can get his hat. That's pretty much the entire reason you send him out there, is that, yes, you have reunited him for his wife, but it's not for altruistic reasons. I need his hat because I need to have a hat offering later. But now
It's a really cool hat, though.
It is a very nice hat, actually. I gotta say that. What we're going to do here, though, is now that we've talked to Dr. Cranium a second time, we're going to rest here until it is just after midnight so we can do the 3rd encounter with him. And you'll know that it is...
You're getting tired.
That is the signal that you rest one more time and then head back in. I gotta put these puzzles up.
How can you be tired after resting so long?
Oh, resting is exhausting. I've got kids, I can say that. Alright, Error Pizza. This is actually a pretty darn fast one. It's not one we get to often.
I mean, they do say 7 days in bed makes 1 week.
By virtue of just pure definition, I guess that's fair. Alright. We've got what we need. Do I have what I need? Yes, I've got. Whoop. Well, that was neat.
Did something different happen?
Yeah, we're gonna have to review that. It looks like I brought in the Dark One's thing into my inventory and just was able to click on the door and get in.
That was weird.
Yeah, I'm gonna review that one. See, we're finding new things all the time, which is wonderful. Part of what I'm doing here is collecting up these rituals. That's the gimmick of this game. You're trying to prevent this guy in this cutscene from waking up. He's kind of half awake, half the reason for all the problems. So we need to prevent him from coming to life by bringing him to life only so that we can banish him. Very weird kind of scenario going on, but we need these 5 rituals to collect in order to progress the story. So you find them throughout different areas. This is one of the places where the blood ritual is. I had a crash here earlier this week. I'm very upset. It's on a pretty good pace, too. And now we're going to go into a hotel room that is ours, that we actually haven't paid for yet, but the game just kind of lets you get away with it, so we're gonna...
It's okay, the innkeeper will stay up to make sure you pay for it.
Yep. And then we're gonna leave again, and notice everybody's in bed. But we gotta talk to this guy twice. 1, 2. Now we can collect the doll. And this doll is the whole reason that we've been progressing through Dr. Cranium and all those other people. Dr. Cranium being a nice reference to another character that I believe you're coming up on soon here, aren't you, David?
After this run, but for now, hero time.
Very true. This is day 4. Do you know what we do on day 4?
Do we sleep?
We sleep a lot. 12 times, actually. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, for good measure, And now we can progress the plot properly. Yeah, day 4 is... I mean, the game hits certain benchmarks. Day 5 is the first major benchmark because that is where the grave digger disappears. And you have to go find him. And they have captured a werewolf, or what they believe to be a werewolf, from a traveling band that's come through the area, and that they don't trust. There's a lot of distrust in this area. They don't trust strangers because nobody's been able to come through in so many years. But luckily, the townspeople are dumb. They don't go to check the place where a grave digger might actually be, because they would have found him right away. And what I did there was cast the open spell on the grave, opened up the grave, got him out. Going to go in here, hear that the werewolf threat has ended, that they have released the prisoner, and now I'm going to go visit said prisoner. Which we run all the way through the forest for, and there's a good chance that we can get into an encounter here. Not a game breaking, but it's if you're going through a good pace, you don't want that to happen. And there was an encounter, but luckily we didn't actually see what it was. We were able to run through.
Yeah.
All right. This is one of the places where we learn... The only reason we have to come here is because we, well, A, learn a spell that prevents damage from the wraiths in the area, which are kind of auto-damaging. Technically, we could kill them even without the spell that they provide. It's just really tight timing. But we have to learn about something called the Destiny spell. And if we don't learn about the Destiny spell, we can't progress the plot. We've done everything we can to try to break through this barrier here. Even the code itself, whenever we decompile it in some of the editors that exist for the Sierra games, pretty much says that we're screwed. We're not sure exactly how we're going to solve the problem. But we have to come in, and on the third time we talk to her, we can talk to her about Orana, who's kind of an overarching mystical person throughout the game. She's kind of always looming in the background, but this is the game where she kind of comes full circle and you find out what happened to her. Many years ago, she came to this valley, fought with the Dark One, died fighting the Dark One. It was very sad. But nobody quite knew it, and we're going to rescue her. Her staff is protecting the town, and we need that staff too. Not only do we need the hat, we need to keep the only thing that's protecting the town from the evil people. So
we're heroes?
Yeah, we're heroes. All right, nice. I'm actually going to reset the encounter up ahead. Oh, the ghosts are reunited. It's exciting. So we've collected a doll. We've collected the hat.
The
Glide is not the spell I meant to cast. We're going to cast the aura spell here. Cast Force Bolt. Get Force Bolt ready. We need to blast this bush. Get these berries. And head down to fight a wraith. Oh, that would have been so nice.
Yeah, this wraith having the heart ritual is one of the reasons to play as a thief as well. If you were playing this game as a wizard, you would have to get the heart ritual from the berries, and that would be an extra detour on day 8.
Yeah, the wizard run would be the fastest if we could just go through the wraith, but unfortunately the different classes have some... While most of the game is the same for all the classes, there's a few places where there are some class-locked situations, and that was one of them. So we're going to get this hat out. This is why we needed the hat. We needed to give it to a skull. And this is something that you would normally see. This is a character named Baba Yaga. You would normally see her in 100% runs of the first game, and you're meeting her here, but we didn't do any of that, so we're just kind of progressing at our own pace here. They're acting as if we knew them. There's actually code in the import files that flag whether or not you saved the valley and actually solved and beat Baba Yaga. She's the big bad, the big reason for everything that's been going wrong in the first game of the series. But in any percent, you don't have to deal with her. In fact, you don't have to deal with her even if you're legitimately playing the game. But the code's in there, but I think they figured it might be a little too difficult to program all the contingencies into this game. They were also on a very tight schedule. So what they did was just pretty much said it's, yeah, sure, you solved all the problems of Spielberg Valley. So that way she knows you and you can interact with her and you can have this cool interaction scene with her. And now that we've had this cool interaction with her, we've given her an elderberry pie, we've given her an extra clove of garlic, and we're done with her. So we're going to move on to the next place, which is the castle.
Yeah, so a lot of the game builds up to this infiltration in the castle. I mean, the innkeeper's daughter is here, which she's been turned into a vampire. We need to know about the Destiny spells so that we have a way to bring her back to life. We need to have her doll so that we can gain her trust. We needed the hat to get to Baba Yaga, to get the gnome's good humor bar, which we're going to give to the gnome later to get a good joke, which helps us get to endgame.
Yeah, it really is just a conglomeration of items and puzzles that come together that allow you to finish the game.
Yeah, by the way, as a thief, almost every single door in this castle is locked, and we never actually bothered to detour for a lockpick. So we have to cast open on every single one of them.
Which is
actually... It's convenient, actually, because you haven't trained that open skill since the first game.
Correct, and that's a big deal, actually. The only spell we bought in the first game was the open spell, and it starts you off with a very pitiful amount of magic skill in there, but the game doesn't actually calculate whether or not you have the skill that you need in order to. In other words, they pretty much just said open always works in this game. Well, that sounds good, and it is good. It gets us through a lot of problems, but there's one hiccup in that. And that hiccup is that unless I have 50 in a skill, it's not going to let me...
You can't?
Yep. It's not going to let me transfer it to the 5th game. Okay, we've got 85. We've got more than enough. If I had under 50 skill in my open spell, I would have not had open, which would make Quest for Glory 5 much longer. So we're always kind of planning ahead for what comes next in the series.
Yeah.
Alright, we gave her a doll. We're going to tell her about the staff. Just hold escape to get through this dialogue. Everybody's going to feel bad in a second because her best friend is about to be sacrificed to bring her back to life.
We're heroes?
Well, we've killed an old man, stolen a doll. We've brought a little girl back to life at the cost of a very heroic monster. We could have left the gravedigger in the grave. You don't have to save the gravedigger, even though the game assumes that you did, and even in the end game, it's like he just kind of shows up. Yeah, you could be really awful in this series, and the game will just kind of let you do it. Alright.
In all fairness, they did try to make you actually be a hero. We just kind of broke the game apart.
I was trying to save my game here. I have had this area glitch out once, and it did not feel good. Here we go. We gotta rest until it's nighttime. Okay, we're good. Knock on the door. We have to visit him twice, and on the second time he accepts our gift. And on the way out, he teaches us something that's called the ultimate joke, which is the last trigger that we need in order to begin the sequence of the endgame.
Yeah, I've seen questions before about people asking, what happens if you get to the final room of the game without the ultimate joke? But the answer is that you simply can't. The fake letter there will not show up until you've gotten the ultimate joke, and Adavis will not ambush you outside the castle until you have read that note. Somehow he knows if you've read it or not. If you just leave the note there, he won't appear.
And even then, there's some interesting things that trigger other parts in the code. Like, for example, the note for the endgame won't appear until A, you have the ultimate joke, and B, you travel to your room at the inn from specifically the town center. I'm going to cast a spell in the middle. This is another glitch that was just found within the last year. I'm gonna...
There is
Yes, Adabeast, I do believe we can get away from you.
He's just kind of stuck there, which is always funny. Yeah, he's locked down. What he did there was a glitch. If you this was another place where the developers left in a little bit of code in there for their debugging purposes. When you're sitting down there locked up, if you hit Shift P, it'll cast the open spell, whether you have it or not. That interrupts the scripts and makes the game go much faster because you don't have to go through another whole series of things. These are just little things that we found over the years. We know a couple other rooms where some of the keys also happen. Here's another fun one. The gate's open, or the gate's closed, but you can they forgot to draw the geometry whenever you teleport there, so we just need to come back out and come back in, and now the gate's open again. That is actually a glitch that helps you out in the 100% run, though, if I'm right, David, right?
Fighters specifically, because apparently phasing right through a gate that doesn't exist counts for breaking it down. I mean, I guess you're kind of breaking it down by breaking physics. So how did we discover that the diary here is optional?
I did a series of challenge runs on this where I took the stats in this game. I'll show you in this. Actually, I can do it right now. Actually, again, our stats are here. Well, I did a series of challenge runs for each game where I put all of these stats to 0 except for one stat where I added 1. And wanted to see if I could beat the game. Well, I made it all the way to the end of this one. It took quite a bit of jank in order to get there, but once I made it there, I couldn't beat the bad guy down there in the pit. And you're supposed to head down there and oh, I didn't do that part. You're supposed to head down there and pick up the last ritual. Well, because I had to kill him and I couldn't do it. He just did enough damage and I couldn't stun lock him. So what I ended up doing was just saying, you know what, let me fix and do everything I can. Well, we found out that you can get to the last room without even going down there now. So it's it was just another fun little skip that we found just from doing some challenge runs on this. And that was neat to do. You can beat Quest for Glory 1, 2, 3, and 4 with only one stat in one category. Now, you do train up that one stat. This is one that I believe David found. Normally, you're supposed to do some weird puzzle stuff, but if you just used your hand down here and click the hand on this, you completely skip the puzzle that's there.
I don't remember how that was discovered.
Either way, it saves a good chunk of time. This is a room I would love to have some sort of skip in. But it doesn't seem as if there is. So, we have to use the rituals, and we're going through the rituals and starting to bring this dark one back to life. That's the whole idea of the plot here. Well, we have to blow into each of these tubes in a particular sequence, and then each class has its own particular class-specific way to get out. This is one of the rooms that is class-specific, whereas a lot of the other ones aren't. And this one is climbing the fourth wall. I mean, you're a thief. Makes sense. The next is the sense room, which used to be a game-ending room, but since it has since been discovered that all you need to do is do the ritual anywhere in the room, and you can immediately leave. So that's finished. And we're now heading up into the final room.
That seemed pretty senseless.
Nice. Oh, this series known for its puns. Here we go. Now we get to watch a wizard battle between two vampires as they fight over me. One wants to kill me, the other one wants to love me.
Is this a wizard battle or a water balloon fight?
Yeah, it kind of... Wow, now it's a firework fight. Some Gandalf stuff there. Alright. They cast fire on me. If I didn't know the ultimate joke, it would still show up here. I'd still be able to use it. The game assumes that you have it. So I'm going to tell the ultimate joke. Get out the staff. The staff turns into a stake. Now I need to be able to reach the guy. So I'm going to do a ninja flip onto the wizard and stab him in the heart. He disappears. The world is saved.
Every vampire should be defeated with a ninja flip onto them while they are laughing from a head joke.
Inside the heart of Cthulhu, as we've seen from this. I mean, that's really where we were. We were inside, bringing back the essence of the Dark One there. So there we have it. That's the end of Quest for Glory 4. We know we're okay here with the open skill, which is usually the only question. I'm going to export my character one more time and transfer that character over, bring up a screen that will allow me to show you what's going on. Uh-oh. I can't see whether or not it's working right there.
I see it on my VLC.
Oh, okay. Capturing this game is not easy. Okay, you're seeing it, David?
And I see it on the main stream. We're good.
Okay, cool. Import the character for the last time. Retrothon is heading through this. Now, this is normally, under casual play, the longest of the games. But because we have magic, and we also know that there are some problems with where some people have been positioned. That's a great placement for that. Of course, I screwed it up, but we can actually skip a lot of this game. I'm going to cast open to get through here. And now I'm going to...
I actually gave you the Frostbite spell for free on import.
It's true, we didn't learn Frostbite in 4, but we used it anyway. Now, you may have seen me cast Frostbite at a pillar there. The reason I did that is because there is a enemy that's in that pillar that doesn't show up until the end game. And killing him there way before the game with an area of effects, but way before the game intends you to kill him, triggers all of the events of the end game. So normally you go through all these different rituals, you save all these people, you help you solve all these problems as you compete to become king. Well, we're just going to skip all of it and go right to the end game. Again, yeah. This takes a hour-long game and brings it down to like 5 minutes. In fact, I think the record on this is like 4 minutes and 55 seconds or something like that. And there we have it. No matter what we say there, this guy's going to out himself as the big bad. And now we are on the final island. Again, way before we're expected to be. Now I'm going to use that spell I bought in 2 that I had no reason to use. Until now.
Yeah, it's a really big mercy that Quest for Glory 4 and 5 bring your character up to minimum on import.
Whew, that was clean.
Nice.
Okay, looks like we're good.
5 is really tricky on the execution here. There's a lot of stuff where scripts will try to stop your character and make him walk slowly, or stuff where the script will try to stop you from opening a door because you're in combat, but you can just get past all that by calming things down, blinding the guards, and then you're not in combat, you're using keys to run.
Also knowing what triggers what is a huge deal in this. So we're going to take everything in here. That is required. I'm going to cast the wind spell on bad guys. Frostbite is overpowered in this game. To the point where, I mean, it's just flat out broken. Each of those little particles that you see in the frost is doing damage as it connects. And I am going to show off one of the other ways that it is very, very broken.
You are mistaken.
Let's see. We can't skip this. I would love to be able to skip this speech, but we haven't found a way to.
It's an awesome speech, though.
It is very good. It tells you the whole thing that we should have actually been learning about through this game. And instead, we know nothing about it.
If I cannot rule what is rightfully mine, then I shall destroy it.
He says you can't stop him. He thinks that no one can stop him. He thinks that he is a doom. What he didn't count on is that gravity does a very good job of stopping him.
That's dark.
I mean, it's kind of a weird thing to say, but I guess, the guy was desperate at the moment, so... Alright, we're going to loot him now. We're going to search. We're going to kick his body. Because I felt like it. You don't need to do that, it's just something you do. Remember, we're not a very good hero. And we are now teleported to the last area. And there is the Dark Dragon. I am going to do a safety save here just in case.
Oh yeah, the dragon can be beaten pretty quickly, but it's kind of it's possible to accidentally pop the dragon on phase 1, and then you're soft locked because you're not supposed to beat the dragon until phase 2.
I took a little bit of a safer route on this dragon because it also allows me to show off another kill here. You might also notice that we've transitioned, maybe it's a good time to mention it, we've gone from EGA all the way to glorious 3D graphics throughout the series. And this is a very early 3D game. Definitely grows on you, though.
Yeah, Westwood has a rough exterior, but I really love it.
Alright, we're going to run up to the dragon, cast Frostbite. It's going to start doing damage, and I'm just going to pause the game. He's dead.
Those are some blast of the master strats right there.
Yeah, Frostbite continues to do damage even while the game's paused. And we can use that to lock enemies in place. So if I miss a quick kill on the dragon, there's a really quick backup strat there. And we're at time right now.
GG.
I'll just do a quick summary look at what we could be doing here. You notice our deeds list includes just these 6 things. Toro survives the battle, restores the Dragon Pillar. We could have had Toro die. That would have gotten rid of 1 more. But another thing you can do, if you look at the to-do list, this is everything that we skipped in the game.
By the way, I enjoy 100% because it requires you to do almost all of this.
Unlike points, which is the way we measure 100% in most of the games, this is kind of how we do the... This is how we do 100% in this game. How many deeds can be done and how many max deeds can be done. And I think we've gotten it down to... I think you guys have gotten it down to something like, what, like 4 or 5 left? Maybe?
Depends on class.
Yeah.